I'm going to cover Article 4, which introduces us to Immanuel Kant, a German philosopher and professor of anthropology. And he taught from 1772 to 1796, 25 years, right before the 1800s, which is kind of where psychology hit a stride. And he taught on everything from thoughts and feelings to how to be a good dinner party host and the differences of humanity across cultures and developing good taste. He covered a lot in his anthropology courses, and specifically in his courses on metaphysics, which is a branch of philosophy that focused on abstract ideas such as time, space, as in distance from one object to another, and the mind and body relationship, as well as knowledge. He shared many psychological theories in his lectures on that topic. And psychology at the time was popular and very integrated into the college curriculum, but it was still not considered a science officially, because now we know it as the science of mind and behavior, but at the time it was the study of the mind and the soul. And because the soul was considered a natural phenomena, it was under the study of nature, which was physics. Therefore, the study of acquiring knowledge in circumstances such as that were under metaphysics. But at the time, they still taught Aristotle's theories, but that quickly became replaced in the 1800s, especially with Christian Wolff, and he agreed that psychology had two types, the empirical and the logical, which is basically the sensory and the rational, like we've learned about, and that the sensory knowledge is the foundation for rational knowledge. So we get our logic from our sensory experience. Kant did not believe that. He believed that in a way they worked intertwined, but they worked together, the sensory and the logical. So he took a middle road there. But he believed that in rational logic as well, very firmly, because he believed in systematic a priori, which he introduced in his publication, The Critique of Pure Reason. And systematic a priori basically means that our brains are functioned to see and interpret the world in a certain way. When we're born, we are hardwired to interpret distance from one object to another as something that can be traveled. We're hardwired to interpret time as something that passes. Those things are innate and inherent in our brains, and we can't turn them off. They're like a set of permanent goggles or glasses that you can't turn off. And because of that, he believed in two different worlds, and one was the phenomenal world, which is the world as we experience it individually with those systematic a priori, and then the numerical world, which is the world in and of itself, which can never be truly experienced by us because we can't turn off the way we are built to perceive the world. And so that was his position on the systematic and the logical experience. They both have a place, but the systematic priority is innate, and logic is innate. And he also believed that psychology cannot be a science because it was difficult to study the processes of the mind. And he also didn't believe chemistry was a science because he believed that this systematic a priori they didn't support chemistry or psychology. He believed that logic could be applied and mathematical equations could be applied, but they weren't supported. He set the foundation for many ideas to come, especially the idea of unconscious thought process to be discovered and continued to be processed. And so he kind of set the tone for years to come.